Hello again. Here we have the second part of our lesson. It's about rounding, but right over there, I'm just not trying to explain much more about the rounding. So if you want to get the entire explanation of the rounding, so you have to move through the previous video to make sure that you are able to do it very well, and then return back to our current video to make sure that you be able to apply every strategy that I have told you about it in the previous video. So let's get started with our strategy. Here he will ask you to tell him or to get the or to make the calculation, I mean adding or subtraction in both of the two strategies. The first strategy is going to be actual. We can call it as actual, and the actual, it means that you have to get the real numbers. So like if we have here 247 plus 256, so what I want to do right over there, I'm trying to get the real number. So by adding all of these numbers together, so you are trying to combine these numbers together. So you have to start, let me remind you that you have to start from the ones place, and then you have to move to tens, and the last one, it will be 100. So we get here 7 plus 6, it's going to be 13. So I'm going to write the first digit, the first number, or the first digit will be 3, and you have to move 1 to the next digit will be 1 to the 10th place. So it's going to be 5 plus 5, it will be 10. So 0 and carry up 1. So it will be 3 plus 2, so it will be 503. So the real number right over there, it will be 503. And here he asks you to do the same operation, but by using another strategy. I mean, to use the rounding to the nearest, maybe to the nearest 100, to the nearest 100 rounding. So here we have the another strategy. It will be rounding to the nearest 100. So let me remind you much more about the rounding. So if you want to round to the nearest 100, so you have to focus on the previous digit of 100. The previous digit of 100, it will be tens. Let me give you an example. If we get here 546, so if you want to round to the nearest 100, so you have to focus on the previous digit of 100. It will be tens. If you get 4 or less, which means that you have to round down in all cases. So you have to start with 00 if you are gonna round up or round down on all cases. So you have to start by 00, because he tells you that you have to round to the nearest 100. And as you know, that 100, it means that literally you have to start with 00. And then you have to focus on the previous digit of 100. If you find out that it will be 4 or less, so you have to round down. I mean, you have to cancel both of these two digits, and you have to write down just 5 without adding anything. What if we have another thing like 567? What I want to do right over there, I'm trying to round. So I'm gonna put 00. I'm gonna focus on the previous digit of 100. It will be 6. We get here right over here 6. So 6, it means in the category, as you remember, that 6 in the category of rounding up. Because if you get 5 or more, so you have to round up. It means that you have to add up to the next digit. So it will be 1 plus 5, it will be 600. Let me tell you much more about it. If we get here 789, in all cases, so you have to start with 00. Okay, we bought 00. So you have to focus on tens place. We get 8. If you have 5 or more, so you have to round up. If you have 4 or less, so you have to round down. But here we have 8, so you have to round up. I mean, so you have to add up just 1 to 7. It will be 800. So you can implement the same rule that I have told you in this case. So you have to start with 00. Unfortunately, we have here 4, and 4 in the category of rounding down, so you don't have to add anything. You have to rewrite 2. So I'm gonna rewrite 2. So it will be 200. What about the next? So you have to write down 00, but here we have 5, and you'll find 5 in the category of rounding up. So you have to add up 1, 2, 2, it will be 3. So right over there, you can just add up 200 to 300, so you will get 500. So I think you might be realizing right over there that the benefit of being of rounding. You will find that that you don't have to take much more time to get the answer. 200 plus 300, you will answer me 500. So it helps you to get the answer quickly. I mean, if you use the rounding strategy. So let me give you a couple more example. If we get here 267, 235. Okay, by using rounding to the nearest hundred, and firstly, I want to get the actual number. So let's get started. 7 plus 5, as you know, that 7 plus 5 equal to 12, so 2 and carry upon. So it will be 7 plus 3, it's going to be 10. 0 and carry upon, so it will be 502. What if we have, I'm going to use another strategy just like rounding. So I'm going to round to the nearest 100. You have to remember that 100. So you have to start every time with 00. Every time you have to start with 00. I'm going to focus on the previous digit of 100. It will be tens, and you'll find in tens place we got 6. And 6, let me remind you, 6 in the category of rounding up. So you have to add up 1, 2, 2, it will be 300. What if we have here another thing like 3? You'll find 3 in the category of rounding down. So you have to write over there 2, and 300 plus 200 is going to be 500. And you will find if you want to compare between the actual number and the rounding, or the number that we got after rounding, you'll find both of them getting close from each other. 502 is approximately it's pretty near to 500. So let's take another example. If you get here 323 and 224, right over there, I am gonna use the actual. I want to get the actual number. So what I want to do right over there, I'm trying to get the real number. So 3 plus 4, it will be 7. 2 plus 2, it will be 4. And 3 plus 2, it will be 500. So it will be 547. I'm gonna use the rounding strategy to the nearest 100. So you have to start with 00. Here we have just 2, and you will find 2 in the category of rounding down. So you don't have to add anything. You have to just try to write down 3. It will be 300. What about the next? We got 2. You will find 2 in the category of rounding down. So you have to write down 2. So you have to add up both of these numbers together. You will get to 500. And we have finished. And see you the next time, inshallah. Bye-bye.